Hey everyone, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Khadija Safari and I am here today to tell you about my journey to Islam, what led me to finally choose to wear the hijab and everything along the way. So I chose to move to London when I was 19 to expand my knowledge. I felt pretty brain dead in terms of life skills and I felt like I just needed to meet more people, more variety. So I decided to study at university. That's where I came across my first Muslim, probably in my life, but we were from two different worlds. She actually got married in the first year that I was at university and I was like, whoa, like she's getting married super young. Like me and her are totally opposite. In fact, I was probably anti-marriage at that point. You know, I thought that it was a contract and I wanted to be independent and I had goals in life. But during my 3 years at university, I made friends with some really good people that I really liked. I really respected them. And it turned out at the end of my degree that there was 3 people specifically. I found out only after my degree that they were actually Muslim. All right, now that might sound odd to you, but unless somebody is wearing a hijab, there's no way really for you to know whether someone is Muslim or not. Okay, we used to go out together, and yes, you know, they didn't drink, but actually, I say they didn't drink. Some of them did drink, but you might be thinking, oh, that's crazy, like Muslims shouldn't be drinking, that's so wrong. If I hadn't have made friends with those Muslims, there's no way whatsoever that I would have ever kind of embraced that relationship with a Muslim, because I would have thought we were from two different worlds. So when I finished university, I called up one of my favourite friends and I was like, hey, do you want to meet up? Let's go for coffee. And she said, I can't go, I'm fasting, it's Ramadan. I was like, what? You're Muslim? Like, I didn't know for 3 years. She's like, how did you not know that? Anyway, I had another friend who called me up and was like, hey, I'm in Saudi at the moment. I'm like, Saudi? I'm like, what, Saudi Arabia? She was like, yeah, I'm in Saudi Arabia. I was like, what are you doing there? She's like, well, I've come to expand my knowledge. Like, I need to study my religion more and understand the Quran. Like, this is where I'm from. I'm like, you're from Saudi? Like, no way. She's like, how did you not know by my name? Like, this was kind of mind-blowing for me. And then I had another friend that was Turkish and her family had invited me over for dinner. And after dinner, they were like, do you want a drink? Do you want some, I think it was sherry or brandy or something like that. And I was like, aren't you Muslim? Like, I knew that they were Muslim, right? Because there was like all of these Arabic things on the walls. And they were like, no, we drink for medicinal purposes. And I was like, right, okay. So listen, the type of Muslims that I met on my journey would not be what you would normally consider to be a practical Muslim. Now, what happened after that, actually during that whole period, I started training in Muay Thai, right? So how I met my husband will be another video, okay? Watch out for that, but you're gonna get glimpses of it now. Because after all of that period, I've been working. The company I worked for, I was a marketing manager in a chain of beauty salons, and the manager or the owner, sorry, said to me, the first sale of each day you need to say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and they made me write it on a piece of paper in English and stick it on the computer because I must say it when I take the first sale of every day. I was like, right, okay, I have no idea what it means, but that's all good. Now it turned out that actually probably 80% of the people that worked there were Muslim. They were from Iran. However, once again, it's one of those things where you wouldn't really know. Like, I remember it being Ramadan and them saying to me, oh, I can't actually fast because it makes me dizzy. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you know, I just went along with it. I used to hear InshaAllah, MashaAllah all the time. I didn't know what they meant, but I kind of got the feeling of, I understand the gist of it. And I used to just kind of drop it into our conversations just to show that I was like accepting of them. I thought that I would just add it into anything. So like, yeah, okay, have a nice holiday, InshaAllah, MashaAllah, like I'd just say both of them. Like I had no idea exactly what their meanings were. Now what happened after that was a bit mind-blowing as well. So my trainer in Muay Thai is now my husband, Alhamdulillah. However, once again, I didn't know he was Muslim. And the only way I found that out is because I was helping him design a website. Now, for a period of my life, I set up my own website design company. And my now husband needed a website designing. So I was meeting up with him and, you know, preparing everything for his website. And then there was one day where I'd come to the premises of where he was. It was at a gym, it was a dojo, a training area. And I called him because I was doing photos and wanted to get him in the right position. He didn't answer. And I called him again, he didn't answer. I was like, I better check he's okay. So I couldn't find him. So I snuck up into the fire exit and he was on his knees with his hands on the floor, head to the floor. What is he doing? And he was praying. I was like, wait, what? What's he doing? Wait, he's Muslim? Another one of many Muslims in my life that I hadn't realised was Muslim. Now, at that point, I was like, whoa, hang on a second. I actually really respect this guy. I had a lot of respect for him already. And the fact that he was Muslim, as well as all these other people which were really important in my life, sent me on a bit of a journey to research Islam. And I actually went from having zero belief, like I was atheist. I did not believe in a God whatsoever. Because I thought that God was like some guy that sits in a chair in the sky with a beard and a stick. Come on, gravity, surely he'd fall out. Now at this point I realised that the friends which I had chosen to keep in my life, who I respected, who I liked, who I wanted to genuinely spend time with, were Muslim, right? They were all Muslim. So I was like, right, I feel a bit naive and have a lack of knowledge of Muslims. And between me and you, I thought that Muslims were like terrorists that blew up places for jihad, like this holy war. And I thought that the women were oppressed and that the men could just marry as many women as they wanted. And I decided to go on a journey to really understand the religion. Now, at this particular point, I didn't just study Islam. I studied partly about Judaism, not too much, some about Hinduism, also about Christianity, and also about Buddhism, and at the same time Islam. Now, I touched the surface with all of them because really to study a religion properly would take you years. But I'd also had a lot of experience in life which had caused conflicts and problems in relationships for me, whether it be something to do with drugs, alcohol, gambling. There were many things which the more I read about Islam, the more I realised it would have been a solution to all of those problems, and those problems would never have happened in the first place. So I decided to get a Quran and try and read it. First page, Al-Fatiha, made no sense to me whatsoever. It was God, 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 God. Now I didn't even believe in a God, so this was getting me absolutely nowhere. So the things that I really wanted to understand were jihad, marrying up to 4 women, and wearing the hijab. The more I understood these, when I understood about jihad and the beauty of the struggle, the internal struggle to fight against one's own desire, and then as a form of self-defense in war, it made perfect sense to me. Who wouldn't defend their own family, for example? If somebody broke into your home and tried to kill your family, are you going to defend yourself? But it says if they stop attacking, you must stop attacking. Now, when we come to hijab, this is where I had to relearn about myself. I thought that I was independent, I was confident, I didn't care what people thought about me. And then I considered wearing the hijab. And at that particular moment, I was like, there is absolutely no way whatsoever that I am going to be putting one of those on my head. Why would I not put it on my head? Because I was actually worried about what people would think about me. Now, I thought I was confident. I thought I didn't care what people thought. I thought I only dressed up for myself. And all of a sudden, I realized it was all a lie. What I thought I knew about myself was not the truth. I now had fear in me of what other people would think. I did care what people thought about me. I didn't have the confidence to wear it. And so I had to reevaluate myself and come to terms with the fact that I had a high level of vanity in me. And the only way to be truly confident would be genuinely to do something for myself and not to please others and not to worry about what they would think. So I put on my first hijab, I walked down the street, and it was the first time that I had been treated differently by men, especially, right? Because you're used to like the wolf whistles and the chat up lines and people letting you go first and all of that stuff because you look good. For the first time, men were talking to me with respect without any sort of sexual connotations. Like, it was just, "Hi ma'am, how can I help you?" I was like, whoa, we can't control who looks at us. You can't go up to every man on the street and tell him, "Don't look at me, you shouldn't be looking at me, keep your eyes to yourself." You can't do that, right? But you can control what they're looking at and choose whether to give them something to make their desire rage and become that sexual object for them, or whether you choose not to be that, and whether you choose to keep that for yourself and those who deserve to see it. Now, I had always believed in a force, that there was some sort of force that was bigger than us. You know, I believed what goes around comes around, everything happens for a reason. But then I had to question, if I genuinely believe that everything happens for a reason, and I genuinely believe what goes around comes around, what makes that happen? Because if it's a coincidence, then I don't believe in it. So then I thought, well, it's this force. Now, this is where it got interesting for me, because I read an explanation about the word Allah. Now, I originally thought that Allah was like a different God, but it said that Allah is the Arabic word for God, and that actually all of these religions follow the same one God, and that God is not a he or a she, but it would be rude to call God it. And in the English language, we have he or she. Now, other languages are different, okay? But we have he or she. It would be rude to say it. So using he is just out of politeness. And I was like, wait, maybe God is the force that I believed in. Now let me try and reread the Quran and replace the word Allah with force. And as I read it that way, it all pieced together and all started to make sense for me. Now, knowing that Allah was the force that I had believed in previously, the Quran became to me like a instruction manual, right? You buy a brand new TV, you put it up, you got the remote control, you know most of the controls on it. You can switch it on, change the channel, adjust the brightness, adjust the volume. But do you actually know what every single button on that remote control does, or how it really works, how to get the ultimate best out of that TV? No, you don't. And you're not going to be able to guess that. You can fiddle around with it for a bit, but you're never going to know everything that it does. It's the same with a mobile phone. The only way you're going to know is to read the instruction manual. And I realized that the Quran was like that for humans. It's basically an instruction manual, how to get the optimal use out of our mind and body, to really understand and use it at its highest state. And to be a true believer, you need to have intelligence. So for anyone that wants to get the optimal out of their life, out of their mind and their body, if you don't believe in a God at the moment, put a force or an energy or Mother Nature, or however it is you describe it, what the universe does for you, what the universe is providing for you. Put that into your mind, read the Quran and replace the word Allah with that force. You will soon start to understand it from a whole different perspective. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got any questions, drop them in the box and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Nice to see you all. Assalamu alaikum.